Good Novatos, thanks again for tuning in to yet another video. Infamous coming at you from the studio once again out here in the West Coast, just chilling. Let's go ahead and get in with the topic of today's ride, or not ride, this video, talking head video, of course. We're going to be looking at two bikes that are not necessarily the same, but they have two wheels. They're both Harleys, and they're both priced at $15,000. Yes. With the recent news of the Sportster S 14,999, as you can see in the image right down over there, yes, that's the new price of a Sportster, I guess. I believe the most expensive one was the 48, and that was around $12,000, $13,000. Yes, that was last year. Now we're looking at a $15,000 Sportster, and honestly, I don't think anybody would have expected hearing that. Just a few years ago, a $15,000 Sportster is, it's just it's mind blowing.
No, hell no.
Anyways, I'm rambling like crazy. Let's just go ahead and look at what separates these two bikes. And there's a huge factor. There's a huge difference between these two bikes. This is more of a modern bike from Harley-Davidson. This has all the gadgets and gears. This has a digital display, a touch screen. It's liquid cooled. It's dual overhead cams. Yes, I mean this is all performance. And if you're out there and you're looking for a performance build, and you don't want to sink in $8,000 on the street bob, I mean, if you don't want to sink in another $8,000 to get that performance of a Sportster S, then it's obvious you're gonna go Sportster S. But if you were to ask me which one would I choose, I think most of you guys already know. I'm gonna go with the Street Bob 114. It's just, man, I'm just a fan of it. All right, I like these big V-twin bikes. I'm just a huge fan of the Street Bob. I like what they did in this year, the 2021. I like what they did. Even with the slightly price increase, I already made a video on this. Technically, you're only paying about $200 for the 114 package, which is a great deal. It's an amazing deal.
Oh my God! Wow!
This bike is just a little bit too much for me, but I'm looking forward to what they bring next year for the Iron. I'm hoping they do an Iron 1250, and like I mentioned, I'm hoping they do a Roadster 1250. I am going to be very happy seeing that, and that's pretty much the same as this bike, just not so much aggressive dual disc brakes, probably a little bit more narrow wheel, and of course a brown headlight. But yes, it's a good looking bike, 14,900. And if you're looking for performance, you want all the gears and gadgets, you want all the latest and greatest tech, RDRS, ABS, then this is what you're probably going to be looking for. There's not going to be an aftermarket, kind of what you'll see with the Street Bob. This is why I'm leaning towards the Street Bob. And like I said, this engine has already been out for 4 years, and they've addressed the oil issue. I don't think they've addressed the venting problem, but overall, I mean, they've been improving. They've been doing slight changes in the last 3 years on the M8, and this is a great engine. There's plenty of potential. It's a great bike. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to sink in that much money to get huge performance. I mean, I would recommend aftermarket, but you know what? I'm not going to get into that. Overall, this is what I like. I mean, I like this classic traditional style. The spoke wheels, the overall stance of the bike, the narrow wheel in the front, the round headlight, the mini ape hangers. I'm a huge fan of how this bike feels. Okay, going back over to the Sportster S. Yes, it's kind of like that Fat Bob, that 48. It's a little bit, it's a little funny. This bike screams performance. It's got that 1250T. It's got everything, and then it's got that big old fat front tire, and it's got a single disc brake, and it has forward controls. It's kind of like, what's going on, Harley? So I mean, yes, it is a good looking bike, but it just has odd components to it. And I mean, this is why I like the Street Bob a lot more. The whole build, the whole design of the bike, it fits it. I mean, it's not trying to be this performance bike. It's got torque. It's got that old school feel. It's got that old school look, and this is what I like. And not to mention, you have all that aftermarket support on these bikes. I mean, you could buy intakes, you could buy exhaust, you could buy bars, you could buy headlights, fenders, carbon fiber fenders, fairings. Man, the list goes on and on. All right, so let's go ahead and start it off with the price. Of course, they're both $14,999. Yes, I mean, this is going to depend on you. Do you want aftermarket? Do you want that old school feel, street bob, torque, or do you want that more modern take of a V-twin bike? Do you want that technology? Do you want all the rider assists? You want that top speed? So this is going to just depend on the person. Both of these bikes have the same fuel capacity, so yes, I mean, they're pretty much the same bikes, almost. Right, moving on down to the color schemes. Of course, you do have that crimson red with the Sportster S, kind of like on the Lowrider S. I'm not a fan of. The white, I believe, looks good, but you know what? Black looks good on everything. So I would take the black one on the Sportster S. And then the Street Bob, you do have a few different ones. You have that orange, which I don't think a lot of people like. And you do have that gray one. I think that looks all right, but a lot of people don't like the new tank badging. A lot of people are just saying, you know what, the tank badging on the Street Bob is just it's a little bit loud for a bike that's supposed to be a bobber. But you know what, I do like it. I'm a fan of the tank badging. That's just something that people, they didn't like having. I mean, they want the black one, but the tank badging just kills it for them. They just say, you know what, it's just too loud. I mean, having that orange. But anyways, let's move on down to the next one. Rider position, stretched. I don't know about that. I mean, yes, maybe on the Street Bob, just because the handlebars are a little bit taller, your hands are a little bit elevated. But maybe stretched on the Sportster S. If it feels like like I said, if it feels like the Fat Bob and it feels like the 48, then yes, you are stretched, mainly because of the forward controls and the handlebars. So yes, I could see stretched on the Sportster S. Stretch, I would probably say more of an upright, mainly because the seat height on the Street Bob is lower. I believe the Street Bob is 26 inches, somewhere around there, and the seat height on the Sportster is, I believe it's a little bit over 27 inches, so you do sit 1 inch higher. So yes, I would probably say more of an upright position on the Street Bob. But you know what, that just might depend on your height. Like I said, I'm 5'7", so this is just going off of my experience. Moving on down to the foot controls. Yes, you do have the forward controls on the Sportster S. It's supposed to be, guys, it's supposed to be a sporty bike, and then you have you have forward controls. I mean, if you want a sporty feel, you gotta have mid controls. You have more control of the bike. And you know what? All right, let's just move on to the Street Bob. You have the mid mount controls, foot controls on the Street Bob. I prefer mid mounts. I've had all my bikes. A lot of them have been forward controls, but I'm a fan of the mid mount controls. I just like them better. Like I said, you get more control over the bike, and you could also stand up and do all that stuff, throw it around, be more agile, have more control. And maybe you're probably 6 feet tall, and you probably just want to have your legs stretched out. You don't want to be cramped. So yes, mid mounts probably not for you. There's plenty of people in the Facebook group that have converted their low riders to forward control. So you know, that's optional. I'm pretty sure that will be optional on the Sportster S. And then maybe when the 1250 Iron or one of those other bikes gets released, we're gonna start seeing more of a mid-mount controls. I don't know if they have that in the accessories or in their parts catalog right now, but you know, I'll probably look into it. I don't remember seeing mid controls for the Sportster S as of yet. So let's go ahead and look into the next one. This says height. I don't get it. I mean, this is not NA, and on the Sportster S it says low, but like I said, the Sportster S is 27 and I think 27.2 or something like that. Okay, so I just kind of had to look this up real quick, and of course I was right. 25.8 inches on the Street Bob, and you know what, I was saying 27 inches, but holy crap, it's 28.9. Yes, that's a huge difference. That's big for someone that's my height. You know, that could be that could be a difference maker for a new rider. But anyways, yes, I mean, you do have I mean, you really have the lower seat on the Street Bob, and that's the reason why I was saying that you're a little bit more upright instead of stretched on the rider position on the Street Bob, because you have a 25.8 seat height. And then on the Sportster S, I thought it was 27 for some reason, but man, this is almost 29 inches. So that's a difference of 3 inches. That's that's huge. Yes, that is big.
That's what she said.
So I mean, this right here, you know what? That's not low. Maybe, you know what? Comparison, maybe comparing it to the Pan America, yes, I guess that is low. But when it comes to the cruisers, to the M8s, yeah, that's pretty tall. I don't think there's a soft tail with that rider height. No, you know what? Honestly, I don't think there's any cruiser M8 softail that has a seat height of 29 inches. There isn't. All right, so moving on down to the next one, RDRS. Yes, I mean, you know what? I have a video on just rider assist. I'm not gonna get into it, but yes, I mean, they're giving you ABS, they're giving you RDRS, they're giving you rider assist, they're giving you customizable modes. And they're giving you digital display, GPS. I mean, there's a lot of stuff with the Sportster S. I mean, there's a ton of stuff in there. And you have inverted forks. You also have 121 horsepower, 100 torque. Man, this thing is a beast. It's a beast. You know, Harley-Davidson really went up, and they really went above and beyond with this bike.
Impressive. Very nice.
All right, so now moving down onto the next one, and this is where the Sportster S just wipes the floor with the with the Street Bob, with the M8. This is where the Sportster S just, you know, straight up just murders the Street Bob, and that's the 121 horsepower. It's huge, guys. It's big. The 114 has about 78 horsepower, 79 horsepower. And yes, I mean, you know what? That's one of the reasons why Harley doesn't advertise the horsepower on these bikes. I mean, you have to look at some dyno numbers. You have to kind of Google it, and you just have to search for the horsepower. Harley doesn't like putting that on there because, I mean, you know what? Not gonna get into it.
Oh my God! I'm really sorry.
But you know what? Overall, those are the huge differences between these two bikes. And you know what? Correction on the fuel capacity: 3.1 gallons on the Sportster S, 3.5 gallons on the Street Bob. So you get a little bit more fuel capacity on the Street Bob, but I believe you get more fuel range on the Sportster S. Yes, it's a little bit more efficient. Yeah, I mean, that's it. All right, you guys just you guys let me know in the comments. I mean, where would you guys go, or are you guys leaning more Street Bob, or are you guys leaning more Sportster S? I think a majority of you guys are probably leaning more towards the Street Bob. But you know what? This bike has a lot of potential as well. And I mean, we are going to see a whole lot of stuff coming from Harley in the next couple years with this new frame. It's going to be great. And you know, there's also a few other things with EPA, Clean Air Act. You know what? I'm not going to discuss that in this video. This video is already too long. You guys just stay out there, stay safe. Don't believe everything you read. Life's a risk. Get out there and ride. Later.